All right, fuck, I guess it's got to be true, right? Because the news won't seem to shut the fuck up about it. So let's talk about this recession. I don't really believe in recessions in my personally, okay? So like I understand economically a recession can take place. It's taking place, right? Like if an economy was producing, let's just say $1 trillion in GDP, and now it's producing $750 billion in GDP, then that's a recession, right? There's less being produced. If there's less jobs, whatever the case, right? Like I can understand that economically, but the way that we overcome an economical recession, depression, or anything is by personally making ourselves recession proof. And not just recession, which is another derivative of that word would be recessive, right? Not just a recession in our finances or our business or industry, but a recession in any area of our life. See, I refuse to I refuse to have a down month, a down day, or a down lifetime. I'm not saying that I'm some kind of miracle thinker and awesome person that just recessions don't affect me, bro. I'm not fucking scared of them. It's that I'm doing the work every day to make sure that I'm putting myself in the best position to become recession proof, not just financially, because I don't want to take a step back mentally. I don't want to take a step back in my relationships. I don't want to take a step back in my pocketbook. I don't want to take a step back in any area of my life. I don't want to recess anywhere in my life. I want to progress. I want to push forward in every area of my life. So first of all, if we're going to beat a recession, it's up to us as individuals. You can only lead yourself, and others have a decision to follow you. But until you can lead yourself, you're not going to have other people follow you. And the only way to lead yourself out of a recession, well, I shouldn't say the only way, because I'm going to give you 5 ways today to recession-proof your life, help you through this stuff. But for me, I live in North Texas, and in North Texas, Dallas, Texas to be exact. And in Dallas, Texas, the part of the city that I live in, you would not know that anything is going on. Houses are selling for more. You wouldn't think a recession of any kind is going on. Houses are selling for more money. They've got gigantic mansions being built, new construction everywhere. There's not a dirty BMW on the road. As a matter of fact, there's starting to be a lot less BMWs and a lot more Porsches around here. And because I live here and I'm surrounded by these people, I'm not constantly reminded that maybe we're going through the doldrums financially of life right now, right? I'm not. What I see is people all around me that are winning, which shows me that it's possible to win, which makes me want to go out and be one of them and represent winning alongside of them. See, a lot of people, they live in a small town, and when things are good, but they live in a small town, and then things get bad, then they just stay there and they let their finances die, their faith die, their family die off, their legacy die off in that small town because they stayed around people that just accepted average as is. I'm not shitting on small town people. There's some great small town people. I've got people over there in Ardmore that I do business with that are big thinkers running big businesses, amazing people. But let's just be real, for the majority of folks, they're small town thinkers because they haven't met some big city guy like myself. And so these small town thinkers, you'll sit there and surround yourself with people that just accept things as is. Where here I'm in Dallas, I'm meeting with people trying to figure out what they're doing to get ahead of this shit. I met with a guy yesterday who runs a $200 million a year company. It's like, hey, what are you doing? How are you? Talk to me, teach me, train me. And he's like, man, you're supposed to be my mentor. I'm like, not in this case. I'm trying to learn from you, dog. You tell me what you're doing. I'm going tonight. I'm leaving here to fly to New Orleans with a gentleman where I'd rather not say how much. Same thing. I got an hour and a half of flight with him. I'm going to be picking. I got 2.5 hours of flights with him. Sorry, coming back. And I'm going to be picking his brain, finding out what he's doing to position himself, and what he's doing with this money, where his investments are going, how he's handling his people during this time, how he's managing his employees, right? I have that ability because I live in the big city. I have that ability because I chose to move to an area. I can live anywhere in the world, and I'm an introvert. I would rather live alone. I bought 400 acres and the only fucking neighbor around in Ardmore, Oklahoma, because I love people, but I like being alone. And what I mean by that is I'm just like, let me take my sales guy hat off, okay? Put my family guy hat on. I got 4 kids and a wife and a dog that barks, okay? He don't bark much, but he barks enough when people come to the door, and there's always somebody at my fucking door because 30 fucking people a day come over to my house because I've got a lot of friends, a lot of shit going on at my house, and my kids have a lot of friends, and it's a whole fucking mess over there. It's a lot of traffic. Thank God. Everybody knows that I live legally because there would be like, man, is this dude selling pills to soccer moms and soccer dads? Because there's a lot of fucking people coming in and out of this house. And why is there so many construction? We've been working on my house since the day that we bought it. Anyway, I say that because it's never fucking quiet. I come to the office. I got 40 people that work here, 10, 15 people here at all times. I go to my house. There's literally a minimum of 6 people and a dog at all times in my house. Doesn't matter what happens when some of the kids are gone. When is that? It's when they're gone, they're with me. And then when they're gone with their mom, then I got a housekeeper that still stays there, take care of everything. Probably 2 or 3 construction guys banging hammers back. So when I say I like to be alone, but I choose to go have lunch and I choose to go invest my time with these people because that's why I live here, to be surrounded by these people. It's not like, oh, well, it's cool for him because he likes talking to people. Fuck you. This camera shit, no big deal for me. Standing on stage, no big deal. One-on-one conversations, whoo, man, I gotta get better at that. I'm not lying. So I'm just being honest with you. It's because of the online and the one-to-many. I struggle with the one-to-one shit lately. I'm getting better at it. So I've been going to lunches with people, getting to know these people better. That's one thing about the jet trips that we take all the time too, is it gives me a more intimate time to start talking with people. So anyway, let me take that back. I'll put my business hat on. So when I say I like to be alone, but I'm going out of my way to be surrounded. See, I could live cheaper parts of the Metroplex with nicer homes, just to be honest. There's other places, like I belong to the Cowboy Club in Frisco, Texas. That's Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. That's his little private club. So they say little, that's disrespectful. I shouldn't say. It's his very elaborate, fancy fucking club that he owns. And I've been a member there for 5 years. It costs me money to be a member there, but the proximity that I get to the people in there, I've met 2 8-figure, 9-figure net worth individuals that have become friends of mine that are in there. And I don't just say that because like the money thing, oh, Stewman just judge everybody by their money. No. But it takes a person of character oftentimes to be able to get and maintain money. It takes a person of character to be able to build a business with hundreds or dozens or thousands of employees. And maybe they're not perfect people because none of us are, but it gives me an opportunity to learn from some level of greatness. I think a person making 7, 8, 9, 10 figures, 11, whatever the fuck figures a year, that's a level of greatness that I want to learn something from. I can learn something from anybody. I learn shit from my children all the time. Surely I can learn something from a professional being in the room with them that's doing things right. And then there's some people that have a whole lot of money that I never even learned about the money side from them. I learn about how they do life because I like the way that they do life and the way that they do relationships, and they're good fathers and mothers and leaders and employers and shit like that. So that being said, I surround myself with the right people so that I'm not around a bunch of people that are complaining about money, complaining about business being down. I hit one of my friends up today. I said, man, how did XYZ go? He said, man, they did better this year than last year. I said, thank God. I love to hear that because that lets me know that the rumors and shit that we hear are not true, because real people out there doing shit are making shit happen. So today I'm going to talk to you about how you can recession proof, and you can, and I hate to use that word, not that my buddy Marcus owns the trademark on it or anything. I don't think he does, but I know that's his program, but I'm just talking about recession proofing yourself and your business, right? So number one is, during this time you make a little less money, maybe a couple employees quit or whatever might be going on, struggles, contracts getting paid a little bit late, whatever struggles you might be going on. Let me give you a solid piece of advice I just gave a gentleman earlier today on a coaching call, is you will be tempted to diversify. Let's say that and I'll give you this real life example. This guy was the number 1 real estate agent, right? You know how that goes. The guy was the number 1 real estate agent, and things in the real estate world slowed down a little bit. He said, I'm going to start a life insurance company, a financial advising company. I went and got my loan officer license so I could start that. I said, man, you starting 4 fucking things at once, and you're straying away from the golden goose that gave you the ability to get where you're at in the first place. And the time that you're spending trying to learn, implement, take tests, and everything else over here, that's time away from maintaining the main thing, which is the main thing. And let me tell you what, if you're number 1 and you're panicking and trying to diversify, think about what number 2 and below are doing. If you're you're the most confident, competent individual in the game, think about what those below you're doing. They're doing the panicking. They're doing the diversification. So they're going to be scatterbrained. They're going to be looking into other operations and things where you can dial right back in, lean right back in, and take over the market. And while they're moving, they're diversifying, they're shiny object distracted, you're just leaning right back in doing what you've always done, being the number one motherfucker in the game. So a lot of you out there right now, that's what you're thinking. You think, oh man, I do mortgages, I need to do solar. I do roofing, I need to add this. I do this, blah, blah, blah. Like maybe, I'm not saying 100% of the time it's a bad idea, but maybe just get better at what you're doing. Maybe lean back in on the main thing. I know every time I stray away from some shit, I realize that I should have just leaned the fuck back in on the main thing that I always do, that always brings in the bacon. You know what I mean? So maintain the main thing. Resist the persistence of the force of average to try to get you to be distracted. Hey, here's a quick way you can make some money. It's never a fucking quick way to make money. Never works out that way. See, what happens is the less we know about how a business works, the more confident we are that we could crush it. And the more we learn about how a certain business or industry and the more experience we get, the less confident that we are we're going to crush it. It's like, bro, we're going to sell Pokemon cards. Everybody fucking loves Pokemon cards, bro. We sell a shitload of them, dude. Like, kids are all over YouTube opening them up. And then you realize the Pokemon card industry is very competitive. You're like, oh, well, maybe we won't crush it. Maybe we'll just get our money back and exit out of this. Like people change quick as their knowledge goes up. So when you look at something from the outside, you're like, oh, it's easy to do mortgages. Yeah, until you bust your locks. Till they call your bonds due, till they tell you that you can't use that cash to make payroll because it's put up as a line of credit against your warehouse line to be able to loan that stuff out. Like then let's see what the jam is all about. So I didn't mean for that ice to come out like that, but there we go. I needed a drink, y'all, and it just decided to give me some cubes. Yay! I couldn't resist it, you know. So maintain the main thing. Number 2 is right now you can look for subsidies. Let me do you a favor. If you have a business with 5 employees or more, you've been in business for 2 years or more, let me give you 2 things that you need to look into. I can't guarantee you'll get this money. I don't know how much money it will be or how it will help you, but just let old brother Stewman here give you, or the Fathers Truman here, but not like the priests that touch people. Fuck. As soon as I said that, it's just like I'm not Father Truman. Like just call me Dad, right? So Dad here is going to look out for you and give you some game to help you get some money, right? So a long time ago, I learned to play the game like the elites. And while I don't consider myself an elite like a Donald Trump or a Elon Musk or somebody of that nature, right? I don't consider myself one of the elites like a Bezos or a Bill Gates or something. I watch how they operate. And while I'm not as rich as them, as powerful as them, I am better looking than all of them combined. I've just wanted to point that out, right? And in better shape than all of them. I fucking kicked Jeff Bezos' ass. You know what I mean? Fuck that guy. Anyway, not fuck him, but definitely kick his ass. So anyway, back to the point here. Just it's always a measuring contest over here, folks. But these big companies, when times get tough, they lay people off, right? But what you don't realize is that a company like Twitter, they're not really selling shit. They're selling ads, but nobody's really buying the ads on there. It's not a big, huge revenue. So how do they take losses every month and every quarter on the stock market? And how does a company like that, where Uber, they don't show a profit either? Like, how does that work? They get government subsidies. And you might think, oh, that's some big dick corporation shit that doesn't work for my little XYZ landscape company or plumbing company or real estate brokerage or whatever it is that you own. You think, oh, that's some shit that, Gates can do that shit. But, me, Stewman, I'm just a dude playing a dude, And so the truth is you can get these subsidies. Let me give you 2 of them that you can apply for. You can probably apply for both of them for free. Just go Google this shit. I don't have a referral source for you, so don't ask me for one. But first of all, you can go and look up ERC credits. If you're somebody who has 5 employees or more, you've been in business longer than 2 years, there's some other criteria and shit that you got to hit there. But an ERC credit is if you've retained your employees through this pandemic, they've got a little bit of money that they'll give you. I talked to a guy today, he had 400 employees and was getting about $4 million, give or take, back in tax rebates. Okay, so that's real cash. Okay, Again, consult financial consultant. Go to the Google, have Chat GPT fill it out for you, whatever the case. But because I always like to remind everybody, I'm not financially licensed, okay? I'm just a dude. Only thing I got a license to do is drive a car and a motorcycle. And I don't even drive motorcycles. I just keep that designation on the license. Life hack, ladies and gentlemen. Side note, let me take my business hat off again. Life hack, if you go get a motorcycle license or a CDL, but a motorcycle license works better, if you'll just go and take the test and go and do the additional steps to get a motorcycle license, you have that for life as long as you don't let it expire, right? You have that for life. When you get pulled over and you give the cops that driver's license, not always, but in most instances, they see that you're such a law-abiding citizen that you don't have to go get a motorcycle license. You can, if they pull you over, I didn't know about, but when they see that you actually are a law-abiding citizen that goes and takes the steps to do that and went through the legal process to get that, you are less likely to get a ticket. Now, if you're driving like a motherfucking buffoon doing some shit and DWI and all that, you're going to jail, you're going to get a ticket. But I'm saying, you're going 10 over, you're running late, you see that motorcycle license, I swear to God, they treat you absolutely different because they see that you've actually done the additional steps that you quote-unquote didn't really have to go through and get that designation. So they treat you a little bit better. All right, put business hat back on. So look for subsidies. ERC credits, number one. And, I don't have a number for you. Like I said, you can Google and stuff, but that's something that companies will fill out the paperwork, do all that shit for, 10% or maybe if they're greedy, 20% of your haul. But what do you care? It's free money, The second thing is R&D credits. That's R&D stands for research and dick, motherfuckers. No, it stands for research and development. And if you've done some research into a product, I had a guy talk to recently who is in the chemical business, and so they were doing some research and mixing on some different chemicals to get some different reactions, and so they were in going through that process. I was explaining to them, hey man, when you're doing research like this, you need to document all of it because you can turn that into the research and development department of the government. You need to, whoever the fuck it is, but the check comes from the Treasury, okay? So there's some sort of subsidy that it's called, a research and development subsidy. Look it up. Same with ERT, employee retention credits. But those two subsidies, so if you're having financial struggles right now and business is down, then do what the elite does. Reach out for government subsidies. A lot of people, they'll say some shit, and I've had a whole episode on this before. They'll say, well, I'm taking money from the government. Hey, these fucking corporate dicks are. Bill Gates is. Donald Trump is. Elon Musk is. Elon Musk's whole fucking net worth's based around government subsidies. Matter of fact, you guys don't know this. The only reason he bought fucking Twitter is because it had $40 billion worth of tax credits lined up that Jack Dorsey couldn't fucking exercise, but Elon needed for Tesla. Let that sink in for a minute. You're like, how you know that, Stewman? Because I read the news and not the political bullshit that you fucking people seem to fucking read. Not all of you, but a lot of you. You know who the fuck you are. I'm reading the real news, man. These fucking elite shit. So I'm telling you, get these subsidies, man. There's a whole bunch of them. I just gave you 2 of them. I look at this when I buy raw land. Hey, how can I get money from this shit? Right? What's the government doing for me for buying raw land? A lot. And I'm not going to go into that in this episode, but this is the reason why I do the things that I do. Number 3, cut the fluff. Right? Like a lot of you got fluff that you're paying for in your business. Bullshit software, right? Bob who takes a nap and don't show up on fucking Fridays, like the people that aren't really putting in the effort. See, right now, this is what I have conversation with my people because culture's huge here. Right now, we're going through a time where maybe we're not feeling it here, but maybe there's a recession going on, right? Maybe people about to tighten up their pocketbooks. A lot of people like to say shit like it's going to get worse for the next 24 months. Hey, man, go fucking speak those evil curses over your own family, not mine, brother. Okay, I think it's going to get better over the next 24 months because we're about to go through an election. Okay, I'll get through that in a minute. But not some political shit, just economical facts. But in a time like this, when things will say tighten up, you're making $5,000-$6,000 a month. Some employees making $5,000-$6,000 a month. In good times, the money's rolling in. You might not have thought much of their performance. Hey, good job, good enough job, right? Times get a little deep. You're like, hey, man, you got to show up or get the fuck out of here, And there's probably some people in your organization that maybe you got some loyalty to, but they're not loyal to the work that you've been paying them to do. So why should you have personal loyalty to that relationship when they're not even loyal to the contract you sign with the work that they're supposed to do to perform at a certain level? One of our core values is we go above and beyond service. We go above and beyond. And I have to remind my people, if you're not living that, you can't be a part of this. If you're not living that and working that in this corporation, you can't sit with us. That's just how it is. So cut the fluff from your business. You know, you might have some softwares that you're paying for. That CRM you've been paying $1,000 for a month that you're not even fucking using, right? Either use it or cut it off. Go through. There's an app that's called Rocket app and Rocket Money, and you can get it for free, and you just go and you plug in your credit cards to it, your bank account to it, and it's owned by Quicken Mortgage, so it's a solid app. It's not some one-off company that's stealing your shit from, you know, some other country or whatever the case may be. I mean, we can just assume at this point they're all stealing our info for some other country, but at least it's probably a country we like, you know, that's with Quicken Loans. They're a huge company, obviously number one mortgage lender in the world. They bought what was the name of the site before it was Rocket Money? They bought Truebill, and now it's Rocket Money. Thanks, sir. And so you can go there and see what extra shit that you're paying that you don't want to use, right? It'll show you all your recurring shit. You can turn it off, turn it on, all that stuff. Great app, absolutely free. The next thing that you can do is empower your people, okay? So we can cut the fluff. We can say, Bob, you nap-taking, no Friday working motherfucker, you're fired. And in the state of Texas, we can do that. Maybe if you were in New York or California, you can't fire somebody without like a ton of proper documentation and, you know, talking to your local liberal, what do they call those things? When you go to your local liberal embassy so that you can, you know, make sure that you're not attacked, and you've got workplace asylum, we'll call it, in some of those states. But here in Texas, it's a right to work and a right to fire state. So you look at me crooked, you're gone, right? Yeah, you don't look at me like that. Anyway, so the point of the thing is you can fire anybody for any reason in Texas. Maybe you need to look it up in your state because that may not be the case. But instead of firing people, instead of firing Bob, maybe I ask Bob, hey, Bob, let me ask you a question, man. We have all the opportunity in the world in front of us, you know, open market, endless supply of customers, more customers than you and I know or can count that are out there that we have an opportunity to reach, serve, and do business with. With all that possibility, why do you find the time? Why do you think it's important to spend your time sleeping? Bob might say, well, you know, if you look at my numbers, I produce the things that I'm supposed to. And I wake up at 4 a.m. and go to the gym by 5 a.m., and so I need an afternoon nap. On Fridays, I go out and I'm in the field prospect. You don't know unless you're looking. But if Bob's numbers are down, you get to empower him. Say, hey, Bob, I don't want to let you go. Business is business, so how can I help you be better? In my opinion, here are the areas that I can help strengthen. You don't start pointing out, hey, here are the areas you suck in that I'm going to help you with. Here's the areas I can help you strengthen and fortify. What is it that you need from me in the form of support to help you reach your goals? And then here's the company goals going forward that I expect you to maintain. How can I assist you and give you the support to reach them? You start having those real conversations, you know? Like here, we have core values. We have responsibility. We make no excuses. We have integrity. We do what we say we're going to do when we say we're going to do. We got service. We go above and beyond. We've got excellence, which is we do the work, right? So like that's the word and then the phrase behind the word for our core values, right? And so here, if Bob worked for me, be like, Bob, well, taking a nap on Thursdays, is that really a good example of service, of going above and beyond? If you're here and there's work to be done, and there is going above and beyond for this company, taking a nap selfishly for yourself, do you think that core value lines up with that? So you can have an actual talk based on the core value and not, Bob, you're a lazy fuck conversation, right? The next thing is, and I correct everything according to core values. You know, you didn't do what you say you were going to do. That's a breach of integrity. As a matter of fact, if you'll commit to those 4 core values I just gave you, it's impossible to fuck your life up. You follow those. Anytime your life's fucked up, you're outside of those 4 core values. Last thing, number 5 is lean back in. You know, number 1 was maintain the main thing, but number 2 is lean back in. So don't just maintain it, lean back in. See, the last couple years, and everybody's making crypto money and NFT money and real estate money and stock market money and Trump money. Let's just call it Trump money because that's what it was. Biden came in, shit on all of our parades. It's not just the presidents that did that, but the political effect on the economy did that to us, right? And so I say that because when money was flowing in, a lot of people leaned out. You know, I see a lot of guys that, listen, you own an Amazon store, you own a Shopify store, when everybody's got fucking PPP, EIDL, tax return money and all that shit, they're shopping and fucking blowing all that money. Let me tell you, for the last 2 years, the majority buyers of high-end stuff such as Gucci, Louis Vuitton lived at home with their parents still. The biggest sector of people buying high-end goods was not the rich and elite. It was people that were in their 20s that still lived at home with their parents. I saw this study on the news that I read. I told you I don't watch political news. I read economical news. I saw this study the other day, and guess what? I saw just yesterday that those high-end retail stores reported this month or last month, they reported that they are down. So even the poor people that live at home with their parents, just being real, the dumb people, someone who lives with their parents and buys Louis Vuitton, that's fucking stupidity, first of all. But the dumb people that are doing this, they've started to even call back because dumb people were getting money too. That's like people that aren't functioning adults, right? These weren't people that were 16 and living at home. These were people that were in their 20s, their later 20s, living at home, buying Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Tom Ford, these kind of things, right? And so I say that because all this money was flowing everywhere, and a lot of people leaned out. I watch these guys that own these Shopify stores, like, oh, automated, blah, blah. Yeah, but when everybody doesn't have a whole bunch of money, they're not buying your nonsense shirts. Let me tell you, when I go and it's payday on Friday, and I was a construction worker, on payday on Friday, I go into the 7-Eleven. I got my cash in my pocket. That's how old I am. We used to cash checks. I got cash in my pocket. I go into 7-Eleven, I get a 6-pack of beer on Friday. Shit, I might get that motherfucking little salt shaker with that twang stuff, you know what I'm talking about? It tastes like lime and salt that you put in Corona. I don't drink beer anymore, but back in the day, that was my shit, right? But come Thursday, the following week, when I'm low on money, I'm not buying that. I'm just buying the 6-pack of fucking Busch, you know? Or I'm not getting drunk that night, okay? I'm not drinking that night. A lot of y'all be like, 6-pack get you drunk? These days, hell yeah. Back then, it was, you know, I don't know. But that's the thing, right? All of a sudden, I'm watching my money when that money slows down. Money comes back in again, I'm buying the twang and the Corona. Money starts thinning out, I'm drinking Busch Dry. What's the same thing when these Shopify stores we see, these people making money on Amazon, these are ancillary impulse buy. When people have a seemingly abundant source of income coming in, they do a bunch of dumb impulsive shit with their money. All of a sudden it starts drying up. That causes them to have to change their financial habits and switch up their thinking and start to be more restrictive on their spending. So you'll see that across the industry, especially if retail falls. But that being said, this is your opportunity to lean back in. So many people right now will watch this next trend. You know, I already see motherfuckers getting on it. And it's not so much the trend, but, you know, 3 years ago it was crypto. And then 4 years ago it was Facebook ads. 5 years ago it was funnels. Like, I see people go through the trends. You know, they're changing stuff. And I always learn this shit, right? I got to learn the latest trends and things that are going on, but I'm not all about it, let's just say, okay? Like, I'm all about learning the latest trends, but I don't have a chat GPT course, you know? It's not my thing. I'm not shitting on anybody who does. I'm just saying I don't have to be the person that's chasing the new shiny object. I'm developing the character, the personality, and the excellence of human beings, no matter if there's chat GPT or not. That's what Apex, what I do, does, okay? And so I stay leaned in. A lot of people, they get distracted with the next thing, but if you'll lean back in and get better at what you're doing. Right now, you're in real estate. Nobody's buying real estate. Yes, the fuck they are if you're doing it right. You know what? A lot of people sitting on 2, 3, 4% interest rates. Interest rates are 5, 6, 7% right now. You do lease for option, subject to the existing mortgage, all sorts of shit that you could do, some creative finance and stuff that doesn't even require a lender or a mortgage guy to come in there, and you can get this shit taken over at lower payment amounts, making massive cash flow. If you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, that's what I'm saying. You got to stop watching this political news and this dumb shit that comes on MTV. Get your head out the Spotify and onto the Audible. You know what I mean? So 5 things. Maintain the main thing. Don't get distracted. Look for subsidies such as ERC, R&D credits. Cut the fluff, man. If Bob don't get with it, fuck that guy, you know? Empower your people, though. If Bob's willing to make a change, lean in with him, man. Tap in with him. Do better with him. And then lastly, lean back in. You probably, you start making a little money, take your foot off the gas. You're like, oh, my people take care of it. It's all nice, man. It's time to dive back in. Got to get involved. I'm same thing for me. We're not necessarily struggling over here, but I'm making sure that I'm proactive against that struggle. I spent the last 2 hours this morning making sales calls with my sales guys, by the way. I think we did 6 figures in 4 calls, so not bad. Still got all these years later, they still call me the hardcore closer for some reason. So that being said, my prayer for you to finish this show is that you callous your mind, you harden your finances, and you strengthen your work ethic and relationships to where you become recession-proof mentally, financially, relationship-wise, and in every area of your life. If you're committed to just becoming 1% better a day, you're unstoppable, and it's impossible to recess because you're always progressing. Rise above.